gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Peña, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Welcome to a new episode of Gamertag Radio, episode 1304. I'm Paris, and I'm here with Pete.
Hey, yo, what's up, dude?
I'm good. Danny's not here. This is gonna be a great episode.
Oh man, I'm
really
already, man. When you messaged earlier, or he messaged saying he was not gonna make it, that put a smile on my face.
Oh, dude, I was just grinning. I was just cheesing and grinning from ear to ear. Like, thank God, no interruptions. It's gonna be great.
With no limits on what we can and can't talk about.
Danny's doing some stuff with the missus today, so we will be handling this episode. But first and foremost, Pete, how you doing, man? I think it's been a minute since you and I've actually done a podcast.
Yeah, it's been a while. Literally just got back from Oktoberfest here in Switzerland. It's my first ever experience with it. Down to like the sheep leather lederhosen and the boots and the socks and the hat. Man, these Swiss people could party, let me tell you.
I bet.
It was about 1,000 people in a massive hall next to like an ice skating arena, and it was wild. Let me tell you. There was some. We won't go into details, but whew, it was pretty good. I had a good time.
Nice, very nice. Now, before we jump into this episode, we're going to remind everybody you can find us over at gamertagradio.com. You can subscribe to the podcast there. You can check us out on Spotify. I think we're on iHeartRadio. Anything that does a podcast, we're on. You can find us there. But if you want to leave us feedback, you can do it just like this.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right. So this episode, we have to dance around a few things because there's embargoes and all kind of things going on. But off the top, I want to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. We're not going to talk about Phantom Liberty, but we are going to talk about the 2.0 update. So I want to thank CD Projekt Red. They sent us review codes. God, how long has that been now? I think we've had it for a little over a week, I believe, at this point, right? But We've been playing Cyberpunk 2077. It is the 2.0 update. We will talk about Phantom Liberty on the embargo, which will be September 20th. I think it's like 8 a.m. or something like that Pacific. But Phantom Liberty impressions are embargoed to then. So we won't be talking about things like the relic tree and obviously the storyline with everything that's going on in that. We're saving that. We're strictly talking about the 2.0 update for Phantom Liberty, along with driver update came out from NVIDIA. If you have an RTX card, DLSS 3.5 is now a part of this as well. And I'm not going to get in that specifically other than just to say, because I even tweeted this out the other day. I'll never forget going to Summer Game Fest, and I got to see the demo there, and I got to play like hour and a half or something like that, the demo. And I remember sitting down within like 2 minutes. I turned to my CDPR rep and I go, "These visuals been upgraded, huh?" And he looked at me like, because you could tell immediately. And now that I'm sitting at home playing that 2.0 update, man, Cyberpunk was already a visually impressive game. We already knew that. We talked about the path tracing, all that stuff that they've been doing. Like, I think that was like the 1.5 update or something like that when that stuff came out. But here at 2.0, now with DLSS 3.5, path tracing enabled on my RTX 4090, dude, this, and I almost tweeted it, and I was like, people are gonna throw yellow chair memes at me and all kind of stuff, but this might be the most visually impressive game I've ever seen. Seriously.
It's definitely
especially
there.
for
it's definitely
the light, just the ray trace, the lighting, just everything that's going on in this game. Again, it was all Night City was already dope. It was already a pretty game. They're taking it to another level here. And like I said, we'll talk about DLSS 3.5 and all that stuff down the road, because we may or may not have something coming along those lines. But I just wanted to state that from a visual standpoint, playing on PC, you're going to be very impressed with this. Now, I've not played on console, so I can't comment on Xbox or how it looks on PlayStation 5. But on PC, with RTX, path tracing enabled, all that stuff looks fantastic. Now, I have to say, Pete, and I'll get your impressions here real quick, but the revamp that they've done with 2.0, to me, just saying to me, this is what I envisioned Cyberpunk 2077 being back in 2018 when I walked out of that demo and it went viral. This is what I thought I was getting, right? We obviously know 2020 what happened. Kudos to CD Projekt Red not giving up on this game, continuing to iterate on it, update it, get it. Like, honestly, it's been fantastic since the 1.5 update, but now here at 2.0, the revamp of the skill tree with your skills and your perks that just make more sense towards specific builds that you're trying to do. Like, I've been playing, again, not getting any review or anything, but I've been doing a net runner. That's what I've been doing the past week or so. Mm-hmm. And it's just been fun as hell doing it. And the way that now, you know, your armor and everything's not, I'm trying to be careful on top of Phantom Liberty stuff, but yeah, I'll just leave it at this. The skill tree revamp is really good. You're going to be able to get very creative with some of your builds. And obviously, even if you've watched some of the stuff that CD Projekt Red has put out here in the last few days, I think you can go online and you can kind of play around with the different builds that you want to do, like kind of set up what you want to see with the perks and all that. But it's been a lot of fun doing that. The police revamp system in it, fun as hell. I really tested my mettle in that. I got all the way up to 5-star, and bro, they bring in everybody when you do that, which is crazy. And I even tested it out because I was curious. I got in a high-speed chase with the Night City police, and I went to the Badlands. They'll stop at a certain point, and Militech takes over when you're in the Badlands. I was like, oh, that's a cool perk, because in the lore, that's how it works, right? So very faithful to the lore in that aspect as well. So I thought that was pretty cool too. The vehicle combat, very fun. The fact that, I'm trying to be careful on this, just sticking to the 2.0 update, very nice change of pace with that as well. I think people will really enjoy that. Weapons, again, feel good. Everything feels very balanced in 2.0. But this is very close to the original creative vision that I thought Cyberpunk 2077 was going to be when I initially saw it. So really been enjoying it. Like I said, on the 20th, we'll talk more about Phantom Liberty, but I know I've been rambling. So what do you think, Pete?
No,
How's it been for you?
I think I think the graphics up front is the first thing that you really truly notice when you jump in, right? Just and you mentioned a lot of it, you know, the ray tracing. I think it's ray reconstruction as well. That's doing a lot of that work.
Yeah,
it's in the background that really you don't really see it until like you jump in a Porsche and you see the light reflecting off the paint of a car, and you see the detail inside the paint. It's very, very similar. And I don't want to make the comparison, but it's very similar to like the video graphics we see for like trailers on Forza, right? Where it's almost like you can see a clear mirror reflection in cars as you're driving by. So I think it's really, really cool. Some of the things, like just the overall ambiance of lighting in general, right? It looks more representative almost of like the real world. Again, it's a video game and I get that, but seeing the way light bounces off, and it's not just like straight angles. Like if it's a curved angle, if it's a pyramid or something like that, it reflects in different directions, and it truly does give you like just this clarity in things. Like if you see like as you're driving, one of the things that I've also noticed is when you're driving and it's slick or wet outside, you see the reflection.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
A clear reflection. It's not like a muddy, like distorted image. It's like almost a clear representation of like billboards and neon lights above you. So you're almost seeing a double image. And then you see that like next to, like Johnny Silverhand's Porsche, like you see like that, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but it's almost like a diametrically opposing light angles. Like it's coming from a billboard onto the street and you're seeing the reflection of that reflection on the side of the car. It's until you see it. And when you do see it, you're just like, oh, okay, now I'm really like, and especially for people who may not have understood the concept of what RTX and DLSS truly gives you, this is where it starts to shine. And that's when you start to have that aha moment of, oh, this is what they've been trying to achieve with all this RTX stuff. So that's really cool. As far as the game is concerned, I mean, I don't want to sound, I guess this is going to become Cyberpunk, radio, but I don't want it to sound like we're fanboying here. But I agree. It's hard to disagree with what you said about how this seems to be like the vision that CDPR was trying to express to us. With those demo moments that we had at E3 and all of the hype and build leading up to the game's release back in September. Has it been 2 years now?
It's 3.
Okay, so just
December 2020. I mean, it's been virtually almost 3 years. Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, and most people I know, we always talk about letting a game bake for as long as possible. I don't know if CDPR could have justified a 3-year, reset and rebuild, but man, with everything that they're doing here, man, it just looks and feels right.
Part of it is, and not to delve too much back into the past of this, because obviously it's been debated to death. But the other aspect of this with this 2.0 update is this is next gen only. Mm-hmm. So they're leaving the Gen 8 consoles behind. So now you can truly take advantage of the Series X, of the PS5, and obviously what they're able to do on PC. So that I think just some of the things that are happening in this game with 2.0 probably are only possible because of that. You know what I mean? And then obviously we talked about the visual upgrade, all that stuff. I think the biggest thing for me is when I look at what this 2.0 update is, and like I said before, if you go back to the 1.5 update, Cyberpunk's been in a really good place since that point. Mm-hmm. But this to me just really opens up the sandbox of Night City, to where you just get all these wonderful, it's like the Jack Nicholson in Batman 89. How did he get all those wonderful toys? You know what I mean? So it's like you have so many fun things to play with now in this game that I just think people, like, I already know what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not talking Phantom Liberty spoilers, but I will be doing playthrough from the very beginning. I'm not doing that currently because I wanted to obviously experience Phantom Liberty and do some specific things, but I'm going to do some runs from scratch and just experience it from the get-go all the way to the end, because I think there's a lot of fun, different opportunities and alternatives. And again, when we talk about these different builds and the things that you'll be able to do in here, it's getting, dare I say, GTA 5-ish as far as the sandbox goes, where I think, and again, I know the mod community's out there and they support it very well, but there's just a lot of fun things that you'll be able to do within Night City. And I just love the revamp of the skill tree. And to be clear about the skill tree, a lot of this stuff was already there. It's just that they've reworked it so it's more simplified to actually understand what perks and things that you're unlocking you're going to be able to do. I think that's the best thing about 2.0. But again, there are some fun things that they've done, like with the vehicle combat. You can unlock a perk where, say you're on a motorcycle and you can literally, and you've seen this in a trailer, where you can jump off the motorcycle like right into action, right? You know, it's like almost like it's an action movie. And again, just the vehicle combat. Not only can your vehicle have guns and missiles on it, you can shoot with your pistol, things like that, SMG out of the car, the physics damage that you'll see now on some of the vehicles, explosions. Like, there's a lot of quality of life perks that they put into 2.0, which I just feel like just is that final unlock of the true potential of what this game could be. So I'm having fun with it. Obviously, we'll have a lot more to say here in the next couple of days about it and beyond, because there may be something else coming. But it's good. It's been good. And I guess since we're talking Cyberpunk, and I guess there is nothing stopping me from saying this, you might want to tune in to Prime Gaming, the Crown channel on Twitch. What was it called? I think it's called Crown. Anyways, I'm going to be on the Twitch Prime Gaming channel on September 30th with some very special guests. And we're going to be talking Cyberpunk 2077. So that should be fun too.
Ooh,
Really looking forward to that. So I will definitely have more information on that here coming soon. But let's just say contracts have been signed.
Oh boy.
So it's going to happen.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so anything else on Cyberpunk? We'll move on to something else I'm curious to get your perspective on.
All right. Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, you mentioned about, whether you were going to go start from scratch or if you were going to, because that is a general question, right? Because my original game was played and spec'd from 3 years ago with all of the new improvements and all of the things that now are available in the game. It really does open that question of how important of it is it to the game in general to create a brand new character from scratch. And it's almost like respecing and playing a new game almost. Granted, you're going to know a lot of the things in advance just because you've played the game before. But if maybe you made a critical error in your decision tree early in the game, you do have an option now to basically say, you know what, I don't want to do that. I want to, maybe I want to start all over again. Like I played with a female character of Vive, and maybe on this one, because it's essential, it really does kind of feel like a brand new game. I can maybe go with a male character this time, right? Or if I had like a specific ability or perk from before, like hacking and stuff like that, I could have done that before. But now maybe I don't want to do. Maybe I want to go, full net runner as opposed to just a regular. It's just the options are there now, right? If I wanted to do that, so I'm really contemplating just wiping and starting from scratch again and going through the whole game and see if maybe it does something else, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I don't know if totally. I'm like, do I become like a bullet time ninja, right? Or do you go like just complete savage slugger? There's so many more options now when you start that. Now you can start doing brand new builds and almost like it becomes a new game all over again, right? You can activate, and it's just, man, this is crazy. I want to know how we're going to have time to do things like over the next 2 months, because between
we are not
and Starfield and Spider-Man.
Well, that actually leads me right into the next topic that I wanted to talk about, which is Spider-Man 2. Because people, the episode's out already with our interview and preview with Danny and I. But Danny and I went to an event here in Los Angeles with PlayStation and Insomniac Games to get a few hours hands-on with Spider-Man 2. And I won't recap everything Danny and I talked about, other than to just say, really enjoyed what I got to play. I think it's pretty freaking clear Insomniac is in their bag right now. This being the third iteration of the Spider-Man games coming from them. You can tell they've taken a lot of lessons learned from the first two, got great feedback, and this just feels like a culmination of everything that we've seen since 2018, with Spider-Man. Really enjoyed it. I love the fact that both Miles and Peter are playable in this game. And I've talked about it before, the fact that there will be an AI version of the other Spider-Man that's out there in the open world. So I talked already about how I went up to a rooftop crime activity. I get there, Miles is already there fighting the bad guys, and then we worked together and took out the bad guys, and the vice versa could happen. I could actively already be in a crime activity, and the AI version of Peter or Miles, depending on who I'm playing, will show up and help me out as well. The black symbiote suit, because he had the symbiote suit as Peter, being able to use the symbiote powers were great. A lot of fun with that. It's going to be phenomenal. And like people already know now that they're adding Brooklyn and Queens into the mix, they're essentially doubling the size of the open world map of New York. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the beauty of all this, Pete, is we know nothing. We really know nothing beyond what they had already showed us in that 10-minute demo at the PlayStation Showcase a few months ago. We really don't know that much more because what we played was basically an extended cut of that from a story standpoint. You kind of know what happens before it, and then you get to see what happens after. Now that those videos are, you fight Lizard or whatever, and then it ends on a cliffhanger. But the open world is the other aspect of it, where I was free to go wherever I wanted for open world wise, all the activities and everything. But yeah, this is going to be great. I cannot wait. But like I said, we don't know nothing. You don't know how Pete gets the black symbiote suit. There was no Venom in this. You don't know. You didn't see Kraven show up. They're already there. Like, there's so much that we just still don't know. I mean, Kurt Connors is the Lizard. Why? We still don't know nothing. We don't know nothing. And I love that. I love that. I played essentially about 3.5 hours. And I still really don't know much more than I knew before I picked up the sticks. I think that's great. The rest of this year is just chaos. That's coming October 20th. Mario Wonder is obviously on the 20th. We know Forza is coming. Like, there's so many other games coming. But sticking on Spider-Man, I'm assuming that you got to see some of the coverage that's out there. Just curious what you think from what you've seen.
So as you mentioned, the overall breadth of the map, like you've got with Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan now. It's insane the way Insomniac has just said, okay, you know what, we're gonna do this, and I'm really curious what's gonna happen whenever they start dropping the Wolverine stuff, because we know that they're working on it. How and where that's if it's going to be linked in any way, shape, or form between that whole, that in-game universe, essentially. I'm again, and everybody knows this, I still don't have the PS5, but I think the decision has been made, and that I need to pick this up before October 30th, because good God, it just looks and feels right. I've spent the last 2 or 3 months when I'm on my Steam Deck playing Spider-Man, because I can do that now. But like, do I really want to wait a year plus before I can go ahead and play this on PC? I think it's gotten to the point where this has become Sony's new console buyer. Like this is the reason why you pick up a Sony PlayStation, right? Is to make sure that you get to play this and you don't have to wait. They've essentially made this on the Spider-Man series on par. And I'll say it. I don't care about the backlash. It's up there with the God of War, the God of War series, where it's the reason why you pick up, a PlayStation. It's up there with, Uncharted and every one of their tent poles. This is right up there with the best of them from Sony. And
I'll take you a step further. We can be in trouble together. For me, this is my most anticipated PlayStation IP is Spider-Man. This is the one I would show up for. If you laid them all out on the table and said you can only pick one, I'm picking Spider-Man. It is the one I've had the most fun with over the past few years. And don't get me wrong, I love God of War. I love The Last of Us. I love Uncharted. I love the Horizon series. This isn't a slight on any of them, but for me, Spider-Man has become the premier IP for PlayStation. For me, in my opinion.
All right, we're dying on the hill. and honestly, and you know what? I'm proud to stand on that hill to say something like that, because if you've played any of the iterations of it, right, the original and then the second one, it's, how do you not? It's so much fun. Obviously, you and I are big comic book and Spider-Man fans, so that goes without saying. But to be able to slip and slide and just swing through Manhattan or Brooklyn or whatever in that suit, it's just wild. And to see them kind of pull off the, what is it called in Street Fighter when you swap characters, right? Because you're fighting someone and then maybe you need to bring in like Blanca or something like that to be able to see that, but with Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah. I know
in your
exactly
hands, like having that ability to just man, it brings us back to our 10-year-old Pete and Paris, picking up Spider-Man and wishing that we could do it, and now having that ability. And because prior to this whole new Spider-Man launch from Sony and Insomniac, for me, it's if I wanted a really good Spider-Man game, it was Web of Shadows from back in the day, right? But it was never as crisp and as clean as this. So, again, yes, it is going to be a PS5 exclusive, taking advantage of, the hardware inherent to the PS5. Now I'm actually contemplating whether I look for that limited edition console and see if I can get it.
Well, I can't say, and again, thank you to PlayStation, because PlayStation did send me the limited edition PS5 console. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to fight my son over that one. Yeah, I was like, you get my old PlayStation 5, but I'm taking this one. This one's mine. So, but yeah, it's pretty dope. And I even said it before. And I know they have sold the covers, but they're only doing them in like a limited capacity. I just think, similar to what Xbox is doing now with the Series X with these wraps, I mean, these custom covers, make them in mass quantity so people don't have to go try and run out and buy an entire console to have that custom look that they want. Because I mean, yeah, I love this custom Spider-Man PS5, but then not everybody can run out and just go buy the covers for the current PS5, right? I mean, the controllers, I think the controller is more available, I do believe, but they limited the amount of the cover. So I don't know. Hopefully they'll put out more, and then people will be able to do that versus, trying to have to spend, over $500 trying to get the Spider-Man console. But either way, game's going to be phenomenal. I can tell already. It just adds on to the chaos of what is going to be the Game Awards this year when it comes to the Game of the Year discussion, because it will be in the discussion 100%. Add that to the list of all these other games that we know will be a part of that discussion as well. It is going to be, and then let's transition to this real quick, but it is going to be fascinating to see ultimately what gets nominated and then what wins Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And I'll break it down this way. So Gamertag Radio, we are judges as a part of the Game Awards, or we have been, the past few years. So right. The way the process works, we're part of, the various media outlets that will nominate the game of the year, right? So we get to nominate whatever the 5 or 6 games will be a part of that. But it is the public that ultimately votes on it. So we don't influence that. That's why Jeff is constantly reminding people he doesn't influence that. The people vote for that. This is coming from the general public on who ultimately wins in these categories. It's just like, again, GTR and other sites, we just help nominate who the public is going to vote on. So it's like I have in my head the 5 or 6 games that are probably that I think should be on that Game of the Year list. Obviously, we'll see once all that comes down. If we're a part of it again, I don't know. But I think no matter who wins Game of the Year, people are gonna be mad. I just think it's inevitable. It doesn't matter who wins. It really won't matter, because there's going to be fans of their favorite game that didn't win that will be upset that it didn't win.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny because as we're here in middle of September, it's not locked up. You know what I mean? The who some people may think or consider is, Game of the Year is not. I think if you would have asked that question like 3 or 4 months ago, I think Tears of the Kingdom would probably be the one that everybody would have, definitively, spiked the flag at the top of the hill. But between that, Diablo 4, Baldur's Gate, Starfield, the upcoming Spider-Man 2, it's up for grabs. Mario, it's up for grabs. It's truly up for grabs. And that's why
it really is.
That's why.
So let me ask you this question along those lines, and that will kind of transition us into, because I'm curious where you're at in the game. Do you think Starfield should be nominated? Long pause.
I got to think about it. Right.
I
my personal opinion, at the end of the year, I don't think it wins.
Interesting. I'm curious as to why, because I think it does. Well, no, not win, just nominated. I'm just saying nominated.
Oh, just nominated? Win. Nominated?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's nominated. I think it should be up there in that top 5, top 6 category. As far as whether it wins at the end of the year, when, during the show, was it December 7th?
Yeah.
I don't think it takes the title yet. I don't think it takes away the title.
Yeah, so like for me, I'm literally doing this off the top of my head because I did this on XCast as well, and I forgot a game on that when people got mad in the comments. But off the top of my head, let's just say it's 6 games. I think Baldur's Gate 3, obviously, that's the one I forgot before. Baldur's Gate 3, Zelda, Starfield, Mario, Final Fantasy 16. And then that 6th one is interesting. Is it Diablo or is it Jedi?
That's the other one. That's the other one, right? Is Jedi Survivor there, right? And I know when Danny gets on here, where's Alan Wake 2? You know what I mean? So,
where is Alan Wake 2? Huh, interesting. Okay.
So it keeps, again, look, man, 2023 was that, that's, I think we've actually hit that comparison model. There's now a 3rd year on that Mount Rushmore of video game years. And I think it's safe to say 2023 is solidly on that pedestal of one of the best years in gaming, in contrast to like, what was it?
Oh yeah, it already is. It already is. No other game could come out the rest of the year and it's already at least in the top 5 easily, if not top 3. I'm personally biased towards 07. I'll die on that hill because I think most people say 07, 98, what is it, 2015, I think is the other one people bring up there, but 2023 is right up at the top too. I mean, this, like when I was at the Spider-Man event, we were even joking around that this is the pandemic catch-up year because that's what it is. That's why we're seeing this unprecedented amount of games all compacted into this year, because some of these games could have come out over the past couple years, and obviously just due to the pandemic and development delays, we're getting them all now. But man, you're a fan of gaming. There's just so freaking much. Oh my God. And again, when we talk about game of the year, see, this is what I'm saying. I know I'm forgetting stuff. Sea of Stars is another one that deserves to be on that list. Like, we're in an unprecedented RPG year as well. There's so many good RPGs that are coming out. And I was even saying before, it's unfortunate because I don't know, unless it's the musical category, if there is one, I can't remember if there is, but Hi-Fi Rush out of all these games is the one that's going to get screwed the most because it's a fantastic game, but no, it's not going to be game of the year, but I don't know what category it's going to fit in to actually win something. You know what I mean? This feels like Psychonauts 2 from a couple years ago, where Psychonauts 2 was such a great game, right, and it didn't win anything, and it should have, but it is what it is, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I, knocking on wood, assume I'll be at the Game Awards again this year. So really looking forward to that. And like I said, it's going to be fascinating to see, when the dust settles on all this. But transition to one other thing before we get out of here. Starfield. So you and I have actually not talked about Starfield, and I'm actually curious, where are you in the game? Have you completed it yet? Are you still just going through? What's going on with you with Starfield?
I have unfortunately not finished it. I was
once you stop skiing in the Alps and Oktoberfest and finish it.
Look, I have not been home for the last 2 weeks, and that's severely limited my ability to play games. I had a loss in the family, so I had to leave to Miami for about 5 days, and then literally came home, did laundry, and was out for another 4 days to celebrate a friend's 50th birthday. So kind of, spending a week and a half out of my normal time schedule has kind of thrown that for a loop. And then, a week of work trying to play catch up, and then, Oktoberfest literally crippling me for the day today. But hopefully after we record today, I'll be able to jump on and get some gaming in. But yeah, definitely Starfield is absolutely still on my continual playlist. I did play, I think it was like 3 hours the other day when I got home from work. And and I'm enjoying it. I'm also enjoying going on to the mod on Nexus mods and seeing some of the things. And that's one of the things I talked about with Danny a couple weeks ago. Was I'm itching to see what the community does. And there's been some things like, the HDR and graphics mod, which helps make things a little bit shinier, brighter, and look better. And I'm on PC, obviously. And so, I haven't had a lot of issues from that. But, again, it's definitely going to be a game that we're going to be playing for the next few months. How and where that slips into that fat schedule, I have no idea. We'll do our best to try to do that. But I'm curious to see how and where our opinions lie 3 months from now, as we get into heavy Game of the Year discussion next year, like 6 to 9 months after launch. Like, let's say we talk about this during like the E3 lull when we're looking for stuff to talk about. I'd love to go through and see, are we still playing Starfield? Right? Because I think that's an important conversation. And does our opinion of the game still hold a year out? Right? Because, it's hard not to acknowledge that there is recency bias when we have these conversations, right? Because it's new, it's fresh. It's something that takes us out of our day-to-day doldrums. Like for me, it's an escape from playing PUBG, which is what I play most of the time, right? Or any of the other games I play on the side. But it's one of those games that I can literally sit back, and not have to like just think. I can just immerse myself into the game, and that's why I like games like that. So I'm very, very curious to see how and where our opinions lie, beyond that first month recency, because we've all been playing it. What now? I think like 4 weeks now, probably a month. We've all had it in our
matter of fact to the day, because it was August 17th that I got a review code.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So like, we've had it for 30 days now, and it's still fresh and new in our minds. Again, hell, we're talking about it still. But where will we be come December? Where will we be next year? And, and of course, I know Bethesda is not just going to, okay, we dropped it, we're done. No, there's going to be more developments. There's going to be more updates. There's going to be more things added to it, either through Bethesda themselves or from the modding community. And that's the one thing that I'm really, really heavily looking forward to, is seeing what the community has in store for this game, because that actually adds a ton of fun and just updates that maybe either Bethesda has considered, but if modding community can do it, why not just take advantage of them?
Well, yeah, they're already they just announced this week some quality of life updates that they're going to be doing to the game. I think they're fixing HDR in it. They're adding DLSS into Starfield, and just some other quality of life stuff that they need to kind of fix. But to your point, the mod community out there, which Bethesda fully supports as well, to see what they're going to be able to do over the next few months is going to be great to see, and interesting to see. Like even just some of my complaints that I've had, like with encumbrance in the inventory. Like I think there's some mods out there for it already, even though I've not done it yet. Full disclosure, I'm reviewing Phantom Liberty and some other stuff, so I had to put Starfield down this week. I'm over 120 hours in the game. I'm actually pretty close to doing my second New Game Plus on it. I'm debating if I will or if I will just stay in this world. I kind of think I'm going to jump into a second New Game Plus and just kind of live in that world. But I love the game, and to the point, yeah, I definitely think it should be nominated in the Game of the Year category. I think what Bethesda has done, well, is it perfect? No. The whole review bombing Discord, who freaking cares? But it's a phenomenal game that, yeah, it will, like us, I think, compared to the general public, we obviously will be bouncing to various games and reviewing them and things like that, over the next few months going into next year, obviously. But I think for the general public, this is a game that will have legs, that people will be playing, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, I think a year from now, there will still be a valid conversation going on about Starfield. I mean, obviously, just look at Bethesda's lineage, with some of their more popular, RPGs. I mean, Oblivion, obviously, people were playing forever. I mean, clearly Skyrim, there's like 20 different versions of it at this point. But even like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, these are games that have had legs. And I fully expect Starfield, to be in that category as well. And the wild thing about Starfield, Pete, is I have rolled credits on that game. I am knee deep into a New Game Plus on it. And I still ain't seen everything. There's still so much out there I've not seen. That's kind of the beauty of this open world that they've created with it. So yeah, really looking forward to when I get time again to jumping back in and playing more. But yeah, I think Bethesda's done something great here, and a good win for Xbox overall. They needed, like we were just talking about PlayStation and Spider-Man and God of War and stuff like that. Xbox needs these kind of IPs too. They need these IPs that you will go buy an Xbox to go play. Yeah. Obviously you can play this on PC, but you get the point that you want to invest in the Xbox ecosystem, to play a game like Starfield. So like, as we go into, just sticking to Xbox for a second, as we go into 2024, it'll be interesting to see, like with Avowed and Hellblade 2 and some of these other games that'll be coming in 2024, if they'll have legs as well and just kind of add to the portfolio. I actually had just tweeted right before we hopped on here, like I was looking at the current lineup of Game Pass and kind of looking at what's coming in the next month as well. I mean, Game Pass, we've obviously talked a million times and people get mad when we say it, but hey, Game Pass, in my opinion, best value in gaming. But excuse me, I really feel like it's starting to hit its stride now as far as getting the proper balance of first party, third party, indie across multiple genres. We're starting to see that now. Because like Sea of Stars is in Game Pass, Lies of P is about to come out, Forza's about to come out, Starfield's already there. You know what I mean? Payday 3 is in there. You're starting to see this variety of games across multiple genres hit into that service. And you just pick up the sticks and go play. That's the beauty out of all of it. You play it on the Xbox. You can go play it on PC. You can stream it on the cloud, like I've been doing a lot of cloud streaming on the Samsung Gaming Hub. Yep, yeah. And then you can roll it over to the Rogue Ally or the Steam Deck, stuff like that. So it's like you're able to invest in the ecosystem and play it on multiple platforms. That's kind of the beauty of it, and that's why I've been a fan of it. And we're really starting to see that now. So it's great.
Yeah. And speaking of Steam Deck, they just released OS 3.5 for preview.
Yep, saw that.
So you can do that. And also, going back a few conversations ago, there is a mod as well for Starfield on Nexus Mods that allows it to play on Steam Deck at about 23 to 29 FPS consistently. So now there's an opportunity to now play that on, it's called a Steam Deck Essentials Kit. That runs it at low settings with FSR. So it gives, it's basically a Steam Deck FPS and quality of life mod that gives you a 38% performance boost on the handheld, which before was okay, but now it's like actually consistent playable on the Steam Deck. So that might be something I'm playing around with this week, as it gives me an opportunity to just jump on the couch and not have to actually go into the office and sit at the desk. Right. I can just sit back on the couch and just disappear. So,
right on. Well, definitely look forward to hearing about that. I purposely have I'm waiting till they optimize it. I've not even thought about trying to play it on the Steam Deck because they warned us in the review to not try and play it on handheld because it wasn't optimized for it. So I was like, all right, we'll do it then. But yeah, look forward to if you put that mod on, what you think, how it performs. But I think we're at the end of the episode. Unless there's anything else that you got, Pete.
No, that's it. I'm good. I'm actually honestly looking forward to just jumping back into Starfield and or certain game we're supposed to be reviewing that we can't talk about.
yes, that we can't talk about yet, but we will soon. I do want to remind everybody again, you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can go over to gamertagradio.com or go over to your favorite podcast aggregator, find us there. And if you want to leave us feedback, you can do it just like this. All right, Pete, this has been episode 1304 of Gamertag Radio. Thank you for joining me. Thank God Danny wasn't here. We had a fantastic episode. Nobody was cutting nobody off. It was great.
No interruptions. It was fantastic.
Yes, I know, right? But yeah, always good to talk to you. Let you get back to it. Actually, what I'm about to do is I'm about to throw a whole chicken on a smoker, and then I'm gonna go to the gym, and then I'm gonna watch my Tampa Bay Buccaneers play Chicago Bears on the YouTube Sunday Ticket now, which, by the way, as we leave here, just tech tip, phenomenal. Week 1 was phenomenal. It was way better than how it's been on DirecTV as far as streaming goes. I was fully expecting a bunch of glitches and all this stuff. No, it was great. Flawless experience. Worked very, very well. So kudos to Google and YouTube getting that working. Day 1. We'll obviously see week 2, knock on wood, but I'm impressed so far. And hey, pro tip, if you got a child that's in college, use that student discount. I got it for $100. Okay. But good thing with that. Oh, by the way, one last thing, because the Apple event just happened, and they came out with the new iPhones and all that. I had zero FOMO. Like, I knew when I got the 14 Pro last year, I should not have done this. I was on the 12 and went to the 14. I was like, man, I should just kept this damn 12. This ain't no difference. And I feel the same with the 15. There's no way I'd be upgrading right now. If I have anything 13 or higher, there's no way I would be going to go get this 15 right now. I wonder with smartphones if we're reaching that point where, hey, look, as long as the battery's good, the cameras are good enough, I'm good. I see no reason to upgrade. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I may just leverage the company. The company's like, oh, we have to upgrade phones, and okay, if I do that, then I'm not going to tell them no. But I don't have an overarching reason. I'm getting to the point where it's like I'll just do it every 2 years. I'm even debating every 2. Like, I'm starting to think like maybe 3. So, like, it really just mattered. Like, again, she probably don't even want me saying this, but like, my wife has the 11. Yeah, she's good. She ain't complaining. She ain't complaining at all. She's good. There's not even a thought to go get the 15. Like, the only reason I would do that is because I hate the battery and how poorly it discharges. Like,
yes,
my phone is less than like 16 months old. It's probably like 12, 14 months old, and I'm at 91% capacity. That should not be happening, and I don't know.
No, it should not.
I don't know.
Didn't they get sued? They got sued for that or something, didn't they?
No, the lawsuit was they were throttling the phone's performance.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
And I do everything I can. I try to keep it at between that 30 and 60% battery sweet spot, but and they've included improvements like the trickle charging, or they don't charge it at full rate until like an hour before you wake up based on your clock and stuff like that. But there's no reason why my phone should be, less than 2 years old and 10% of my battery lost.
Yeah. Oh, last thing, and then we can get out of here. So, have you been following Coach Prime and everything going on with Color?
I believe.
Okay. So I believe. Thank you. Here's my point. Here's my point on this. So they obviously pulled it out last night against Colorado State. And it seems like every week there's a media person or opposing coach that's taking these little passive aggressive shots.
It's personal.
At Prime, right? Here's the thing, and I'm glad they won, and I'm glad, all that, because I'm with you. I'm really pulling for Coach Prime and these kids, and just the message, the way he's doing it. I think we need this to happen to kind of shake up college football, right? But they're probably going to lose Oregon. And if they don't lose Oregon, they're going to lose USC. I'm just telling you now. When this team loses,
they're going to drop everything. They're going to
watch how many people revel in them losing, because it's going to happen. Because you've already seen the little subtle shots. Wait till they lose, and everybody, see, I told you, it's going to happen. But what he's doing, I love it, because this ain't the year. The fact that he's already having success is great, but this ain't the year. It's going to be a couple years from now, because when you get a Travis Hunter, who what people don't realize about Travis Hunter is Travis Hunter was the number 1 recruit in the nation a couple years ago and was committed to Florida State. He decommitted and went to an HBCU because of Coach Prime. How many other top recruits you think about to go to Colorado over the next couple of years? All of them?
All of them. All of them. They are now going to be a top 5. They are now going to want to be a top 5.
And I was even telling Trey, because the other thing a lot of people don't realize, and look, it is what it is at this point, but when Coach Prime went to Jacksonville State, you know what job he really wanted, right? Oh, yeah, you know what job he wanted.
He wanted to come back to FSU.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I can't be mad at FSU for not doing it because he was unproven. You can't go from high school to jumping up to Power 5 school. I get it.
You think he takes over? Do you think he takes over in about 4 or 5 years? I don't. But my point is, if he was at FSU, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They'll say it's cheating. FSU will be the number 1 school every year. 3. You guys are number 3 right now, so you guys are doing something right.
Hey, look, they almost gave me a heart attack yesterday. Okay, but that's the Seminole way, so I'm used to it. But no, I'm just happy for him. I love the confidence, and that's what bothers them the most is how confident he is. And they're just waiting for him to slip. And it's going to happen. They're not beating USC. They might beat Oregon, but Travis Hunter's out. He's hurt. So now I really don't even think they're going to beat Oregon. But they're definitely not beating USC. They ain't beating Caleb. Look, the Bucs need to be tanking for Caleb. That's all I know, but we're not. But yeah, I'm be rooting for them. But just remember what I'm saying. When they lose, watch the day after. Watch the week after. Watch the comments. They will be interesting. That's all I'm saying. So I know we're rambling. We need to get out of here. But Pete, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody listening to this. Appreciate Danny not being here. I'm kidding.
Not in that order, though. Not in that order.
Yeah, not in that order. But again, this has been episode 1304 of Gamertag Radio. I'm Paris. That's Pete.
Cheers.
We'll see you guys next week. Or actually, we'll see you again this week talking some Phantom Liberty.
That's true.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.